Welcome to this first edition of Drew's Barn, where I'm going to be fiddling about with some fantastic classic cars, like this Mk2 Golf GTI, 16 valve as well. What am I going to be doing? Well, it's going to be completely dismantled. Wish me luck. So why am I dismantling this Mk2 Golf GTI 16 valve? Well, it is a 1988 car. It's done quite a lot of miles, about 170,000 miles. Superficially, it looks okay. As you can see in the picture, you're probably thinking, why is he taking that apart? That's mad. It looks okay. It's not. Okay, it's it's had a hard life, this whole thing. Lots and lots of miles, many owners, about 8 or 9 owners. And the last few owners, let's say, haven't been entirely amazing on the upkeep of the car. So there's a few bodges that have been encountered along the way. I've limped it around for a few years, and yeah, got it working. Undone a few bits and pieces that are obvious, but I know it needs some bodywork repairs, scary stuff. I know it needs a gearbox rebuild, probably slightly less scary, and lots of other bits and pieces. There's bits of trim that don't fit, there's bits of trim that are slightly warped. There's some rust appearing in areas which looks a little bit concerning. So there's lots and lots of bits and pieces to get stuck on. What I want to do with this thing is I want to get it nice. Okay, I'm not looking for a 20 valve turbo transplant or a VR6 transplant or anything like that. This is just an ordinary KR 16 valve Golf, 139 brake horsepower standard. I want to get it back to being pretty much as it was, probably with a few minor mods, just for convenience, when it rolled out of the showroom back in 1998. So the first step is got to take everything out of the inside of the car to see what we're really dealing with. Bodywork seems to be mostly okay, but I found some concerning things along the way. So wish me luck as I start on this escapade. Those of you wanting a little bit of underbody or under engine cover goodness. So this is the engine of a 16 valve Golf, very distinctive. These big intake runners. Like I said, this is the original engine for the car. It is a peaky 7,500 RPM, well, 7,200 RPM motor, 139 brake horsepower coming out of the factory. It's probably lost a few horses along the way. I have had the head on this car reconditioned, so I know that's in good shape. Not so sure about the block at the moment, but more tests to come out. You can see it's generally okay, it's generally tidy, but there's lots and lots of bits and pieces in here which are a bit kind of, that really needs some attention. You can see a little bit of surface corrosion on the turrets, not uncommon, car of this age. Same on this side here, nothing structural, that's actually very straightforward. Typically discoloured expansion bottle, they stay this colour for like about a week and then they go like that because reasons. You can see the fuel injection system here is all externally a bit corroded, that needs a bit of tidying up, but most of the stuff is there. There's a few little bits of intake stuff missing, a bit of corrosion here, and the engine actually runs really nicely. One of the better parts of the car. Most of the exterior trim is intact and in good shape. These front grills are very distinctive. They have lots and lots of bits and little trim pieces on them that crack. A typically scuffed and slightly dented bumper, you can probably see some of that detail. So again, superficially okay, but needs some TLC. And there's various bits and pieces under there. There's a small scab of rust I've spotted down there, which we'll need dealing with as well. Usual stone chips for doing that thing, but not outrageously bad for a car that's covered the sort of mileage it has done. It does, as you're probably looking at thinking, that looks very shiny. It has had a respray in the past, probably about 10 years ago, which is of not great quality. It's okay, but it wasn't done properly when the car was resprayed. They didn't take out the glass and various other bits and pieces like that. So you've got bits of overspray and various other bits of woe that will need tidying up on the car as we go through. So yeah, we'll look a little bit more about that in detail as we go along. So for the time being, I am going to be dismantling. Here we go. So as you can see, I'm starting with the back of the car. I'm kind of going to be starting at the back, working forward. So in here, I have taken out so far the rear parcel shelf supports on both sides of the car. I'm just doing the rear seat belts. Once I've got those out, I'll take the rear seats out. I've taken out one of the side panels there on that side, and this one as well. So far, this part of the bodywork doesn't seem to be too shabby. There's a little bit of corrosion, but nothing really terrifying to report home about. However, the one thing I've already encountered on this side, you can see that somebody has been here before and done a slightly bodged fiberglass repair of this area. So I don't know how bad that's going to be. I'm going to have to dig into it. It's fairly solid. It doesn't seem to go very far, but that's the first issue I have encountered. So there's been some bodging along the side there, so I'm going to have to see how that actually transpires. Taking the Golf apart actually is dead easy. These things are just like Meccano. I mean, literally just a socket set, a screwdriver, and a little bit of prying, and the thing all comes apart. So far so good. I've got the classic headliner to remove. That is a painful job. I've done it once before, so I'm not too worried about it. And really, it's just a case of slowly and methodically taking things apart to see how things are. So I will continue to report on how that goes. The rest of the car so far looking fairly structurally sound. I'll introduce some of the other problems I found in another video. So onwards, here we go. Okay, so I've got the interior rear carpet out. So far, no nasty surprises back here. All looking quite clean. Needs a good scrub, but it's pretty reasonable. There's a fair bit of wear and tear along the back here. As you can see, a tiny bit of corrosion, lots of scratches, quite mucky around the edges of where the carpet was. But most importantly, for this part of the car at least, the rear turrets are nice and sound. There's no real evidence of anything nasty going on in there, and this aspect of the interior car looks pretty solid. The floor looks actually really shiny. I'm quite impressed with that. This turret is also good. So structurally there, the car seems to be quite happy. There is a small bit of corrosion here, which I've just noticed, but it's all solid, but it does need a bit of TLC there. One thing to look out for actually on the Mk2 Golf, if you don't know, in an ideal world you should spot this sticker on the interior of the rear panel. This one's not in great condition. I might try and get it reprinted, but at least it's there. This shows all the option codes for the car. You can see actually there, Golf 16 valve GTI, so that's correct. And all these numbers here specify the options the car came with, things like alloy wheels and sunroofs and stuff like that. If your Golf has said sticker in approximately this location, it generally means the car hasn't suffered a smash up the back, because if it is ever whacked up the back, this panel gets replaced, and the sticker of course doesn't. So it's a bit of a giveaway that the car's had a little knock up the back. So it's not necessarily a really bad thing, depending on how well the repair's been done. On that note, Golfs suffer from corrosion on these seams here. This is where the back panel meets the bodywork. Now this side, as you can see, looks absolutely fine. There's no issues there at all. However, this side, I think I've got the beginnings of some issues just behind the GTI badge. There's something there that does not look quite happy. It's still solid, but I think I'm going to have to nip that one in the bud, and it depends whether it's gone any further down. It's difficult to tell here whether that's a bit of overspray or whether that's a bit of corrosion. It all feels solid in there. Looking on the inside of the car, there's not really much to see. It's really dark, so it doesn't appear to have gone through on the inside. I don't think that's coming out too well on the video, but I might have that light cluster out. It's quite an easy job, just to have a poke around in there and see how bad that is. The seam between the outer bodywork again looks reasonably okay. I can see some signs of the not great quality spray job that was done on this car in the past, but it's all solid, there's no corrosion in here. This side does not look quite so happy. Nice little leaf. Not sure if that's, doesn't feel like it's corroding, but I might have a look at that. And the rest of it is just a bit of overspray. There's a little bit of rust in the tailgate here, as you can see. And I know this tailgate inside the lamps, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, just above the number plate here, there's a plastic mesh. Ooh, let's see if we can get that to focus. There we go. There's a plastic cover there at the moment. Underneath that is a huge area for rot on the Mark II, and I know this car has got some issues there, so I might try and salvage this tailgate, or I might try and find a replacement. Here you can see another example of the amazing quality job that was done on the respray. Look at that. Isn't that appalling? So yeah, I'm going to have to take these latches and things off, give them a proper clean. It's funny, in some areas they seem to have paid some attention and say this strut doesn't have any evidence of overspray, whereas it obviously was up there. This has been put back in a bodge way. All the original fastenings are long gone, and someone has taken it to themselves to screw straight through the original part. Nice. So fortunately I've got a replacement one of those, and I'll see if I can get that sorted out as well, because this one is, as you can see, buckled, and goodness knows what the inside of that's going to be like, so probably full of rust. We'll wait to find out. But yeah, so far the inside of the car looking fairly happy. Right, next step, and probably enough for today, let's get those back seats out. Well, a growing pile of bits means that I've been reasonably successful out with the rear seat. It's amazing on these older cars how little actually holds them in. All it is, this is it. That buckle there and that one down there is all that secures the floor. Obviously then you've got like a hinge here, and then the thing is clipped in by some pins at the top, and that's it. That's all that holds the seat into the car, nothing else. Which I suppose in the 80s was okay. Not sure it would pass muster nowadays, but anyway, there we go. Right, so this is enough for day one, I think. I've got a cable hanging down here. This is actually supposed to be here. This is the aerial, which on the 16 valve goes to the natty little beasting, which everybody copied in the 80s, but only the 16 valve Golfs are supposed to have that. So anybody else sporting one is wrong. I'm a bit of a stickler for originality, you'll probably figure out. So yeah, so this is supposed to be here. I don't exactly know how it's supposed to be routed though. That looks a bit suboptimal to me, so I'm going to figure out how that goes. And it goes up into the headlining, which is I think going to be the last job. I think I'm going to take the seats out at the front first and see how that goes. There's some wiring here for a stereo, which I'll see what I can do to tidy up. The rest of the wiring here is exactly where it's supposed to be. That's rear lights and stuff. So this all looks good. No other surprises there. Small spot of rust on the floor. Nothing outrageous at the back here either. Everything looks pretty solid. So yeah, so far so good. I say only this area up here, which we'll do a little bit of inspection on in a bit more detail in an upcoming video. So day one, the Golf is coming apart. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. This is going to be, sorry, I didn't really do like and subscribe, it's very cheesy, but you know you know the deal on YouTube. I'm basically planning on doing a tear down of this car all the way, certainly all the interior, because I know the bodywork needs some TLC. As I mentioned before, there will be an engine section as well. The engine's okay. I know the head is good. I'm not convinced about the block for reasons I'll explain in a future video, but the gearbox has the classic Mark II Golf crunchy second gear synchro busted issue, so that gearbox will have to come out at some point in the future, but that's not kind of crucial right now. Interesting enough, when they did the respray on this car, they resprayed an awful lot of it, but for some reason they took the engine out, played around with the engine, not quite sure exactly what they did with it, but put the engine back in and didn't respray the inside of the bay. So the inside of the bay is original, thus, you know, okay, but a bit tired. So if I want the entire car to be pristine, I've got to take the engine out. Really? But anyway, since the gearbox has got to come out anyway, and there's possibly some issues with the block, again, to be covered in a future video. We'll see about that in a future video. So this hopefully is going to be a long-running series from Drew's Barn, as I strip down and get this Golf back to how it was in 1988. I'm hoping to have it back on the road. I don't know how long it's going to take me. Yeah, these things always take longer than you expect. If I could do it by this time next year, I'd be very happy, but I think that might be a bit optimistic. We'll see how it goes. Loads and loads of stuff to do. I'm going to do as much of it myself as I can. Things like welding and rust repairs, obviously I'm going to get some specialists to do it because A, I'm not qualified to do it, and B, I want it done kind of properly. I'm trying to build this car so it will be good for, let's say, another 20 years. That's the objective. By which point, one of my sons will probably inherit it. So it'd be nice to leave it in good condition for them. But a lovely car, and it'd be nice to see it back to fine fettle and doing what it does. Upcoming stuff. This is another car that's here. This is, most of you will know it's an MX-5. Technically, this is an Unos Roadster. Some of you may be already noticing something slightly different going on in the engine bay here. Plenty of work to be done on here. There's a big gap in here, which is being filled by something I have on the bench over here. And some of you will know what that is. But I'll leave that one for another episode as well. Anyway, see you soon. Be good, enjoy, and wish me luck. Happy motoring.